Hey guys, what's going on? RossDunne. As I went down today to sit down to compose this video with my stupid little notebook at a local coffee shop, the universe decided to play a cosmic irony and sit two priests in front of me uh, as I wrote my thoughts on this subject. I suppose some people would call that religious precedent, but it's mostly just an issue of cosmic irony. I've wanted to make a video about atheism for a while because I would say my position on it isn't necessarily entirely unique and my experience isn't entirely unique, but I still think that I need to talk about it. I've sort of divided up atheism into a sort of three-tiered system. Obviously, there are more nuances to it than that. And when I say a three-tiered system, I actually mean a socially accepted tier system. There's the first tier in which atheism is both socially and physically a threatening place to live in. These are places where atheism is not tolerated or accepted in any form. A failure to believe in God or gods can result in genuine physical harm and the threat of death to an individual, and it is virtually impossible to be an atheist in those places. I don't need to list countries or societies, but you know yourself what sort of places these are. The second sort of tier is a place where, whilst atheism is tolerated and accepted, and the likelihood that you will experience physical violence towards you for being one is very low, on a social level, you could argue that it's potentially dangerous to be an atheist in these places, in the sense that atheists are mistrusted. It's hard for atheists to expose themselves or discuss their faith or lack thereof in a way where it is not potentially socially harmful. And of course, the third tier is a place where atheism is both accepted and celebrated and a component of a nation or culture's society. My own personal experience ranks somewhere in the second tier. I'm not sure if it's apparent or not through my accent, but I am Irish. And Ireland is a very unique place when it comes to faith and religion, because Ireland has a long history of being involved in squabbles and wars as a result of oftentimes religious issues. For me to be an atheist in Ireland is not necessarily physically harmful to me. I'm not likely to experience actual violence as a result of being an atheist, although it's not impossible. What I am likely to experience is extreme social shame. Most Irish atheists are closeted. The word agnostic isn't necessarily a dangerous word in Irish society, and it doesn't necessarily incur social penalties. But atheism is a statement of fact for an individual who professes it. Atheism is taking a stance. Agnosticism is a matter of, well, I don't know. But atheism is a bold statement, even in Irish society. And most people are under the impression that Ireland is like a profoundly Catholic nation where the rule of Christ is unquestionable. That's not true. Especially in the last couple of decades, Ireland has become an increasingly secular nation, but there are still vestiges. There are still roots which run deep in Irish society which place people of non-Christian faith at a disadvantage. In fact, part of Ireland's constitution states that blasphemy is illegal. It was recently ratified, and whilst it's not necessarily upheld in court, it's still illegal. This is a statement of intolerance of views. It's intolerance of the non-religious. One of the tenets possibly of atheism, and many of atheism's more outspoken writers and spokespeople have said that it is partly the job of atheism to criticize religion and to criticize what atheists perceive as fairy tales. People take issue with that far more than anything else, and I think that they do so because there's this misconception that atheism is itself a form of faith. What the faithful don't seem to grasp is that atheists view religion as an idea. That's it. And ideas can be criticized in reasonable open societies. It's important to understand in the second-tier nations which I discussed that they often have a piecemeal form of social secularism. That is to say that they're often protected under general social conventions, but discussing atheism can be a highly problematic subject. Secularism does not necessarily imply freedom of expression, and whilst that's not a conversation that we need to get into right here, it's a conversation we've had in previous videos, it's still a significant issue for atheists, especially atheists in places like Ireland. My personal experience is that I'll tolerate religious ceremonies for the sake of relative peace. I attend church occasionally only for the sake of being able to make sure that my family is seen to, that their considerations are made comfortable. But I have on multiple occasions been forced to endure something that I don't believe in and that I personally find abhorrent for the sake of making other people feel comfortable. The death of relatives and loved ones is particularly challenging for an atheist, especially an atheist who lives in a family or a community of people who are generally practicing. It seems almost disrespectful for an atheist not to turn up to a service that he or she doesn't believe in because it's not a part of their worldview. Death in particular is very challenging for an atheist, especially in a non-secularist nation. Ireland claims to be secularist, but it's not. That would be a lie. The truth is often that atheism is more of a rock-the-boat issue in Ireland, and in many sort of Western nations as well. It's not necessarily that people have massive personal objections to your ability to your failure to adhere to a God, so much as it's that by bringing it up, you're entering a socially taboo area, and that it's uncomfortable for other people to deal with that. In the long run, I think that it's hypocritical for nations to claim to be secularist when they don't have the ability to accommodate atheist views. It can often be dangerous socially, if not physically, to express atheism, and Ireland is a fantastic example of that. I don't necessarily feel threatened in my daily life as an atheist, but I certainly know that failure to comply to certain religious standards and certain religious ideologies feels like it may have lamed me or gimped me in some way in my ability to socially function in certain places. The reality of the situation is that the word coexist, unfortunately, still doesn't have an A. I'm RossDunne. Like, comment, and subscribe.